I'm from the
Same place as trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Happy Sunday and welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, examine, and analyze words, sayings, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, we will be smoking on proper. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawood at BKSOLFARM. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. How you feeling?
Peace, God. Y'all feeling pretty good, man. Like it's May, right? It's May, right? The year is halfway over almost, right? Like so everything is going good, right? Like everything in the garden is growing well. Like all the livestock is reproducing well, right? Like everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's like spring is springing.
Spring is springing, right?
Right. And, you know, life is lifing, but, you know, spring is springing. And we take our wins and our lessons and we learn from them. And so we have more wins than lessons.
Ain't that right?
Right.
More lessons on how to win, baby.
You know what I'm saying? How about you, God?
Just, you know, as always, God, thankful for another sunrise. And just looking at the progress, the peacefulness, the progress, and the positivity that we've been able to maintain through overcoming challenges throughout the week. And happy to get back here with my brother so we can do another show and get a little bit closer to some of this knowledge and have fun with it like we always do. And before we get into that, y'all, please make sure to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Also, share the link, y'all. Share with a friend, with somebody that you know that be trying to get their words together too. And then also we're going to tell them, head on over to www.bksolfarm.com and pick up your copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by that brother right there, Ali Dawood at BKSOLFARM. The link is in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to DBCHEFTV on YouTube, y'all, right now, to put your name in a hat to win $100. We do it each and every third Sunday of the month, and we will be doing this until 2027, okay? And we might take it past then. But for right now, you want to go ahead and subscribe so we can get you in. And thank you for supporting us, supporting our content. And that's what we're going to do, show some love back with you. So the link is in the description, y'all. And don't forget, we got DBCHEFTV and BKSOLFARM merch. Links are in the description. And like we always say, if money's tight, it's all right. We're going to still love you if they do what, God?
Smash that like.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and jump into proper and our questions for tonight's word. Our first question, what do you think of when you hear the word proper? Second, growing up, what were you told was proper, and does it still apply? And does it still apply today? 3, what historically is the idea of being proper in the Black community concept? 4, how does social media influence what people think is proper today? And 5th and final, last but never least, is the word proper bad, good, or misunderstood? And you know what y'all got to do. You got to stick around to the end of our exchange of these insights to find out what the Cigarden Panel thinks. And we want to know what you think too, you know. So let us know in the comment section. either during the live chat or in the comment section, depending on where you watch this at. And we appreciate y'all for that. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get to our first question. What do you think of when you hear the word proper? And then we're going to go to the definition. But let's go ahead and go to the guy, Ali Dawood at BKSOLFARM. What do you think of when you hear the word proper, God?
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
So the very first thing I think of when I hear proper, I think of hoity-toity.
Hoity-toity.
I think of, I think it's equivalent to being nice, right?
Nice.
After what we learned, what the definition of nice was, right? Not on what we think nice means, but off the definition that we learned. I also think that it's the quote unquote right thing to do, right? It's that common respect or common decency that you hope
that you hope for,
that you hope is reciprocated,
or hope to have,
right? That is shared amongst everybody, right? And I guess we'll go into it, further in the questions. But yeah, like my very first thought, it's hoity-toity, like the proper, sitting up straight, shoulders back, chin tucked, your pinky in the air when you drink your stuff, and
so like mannerisms,
super duper manner. That's why I said equivalent to nice, right? Because I think those things are niceties, right? Things that people just do in front of each other that they may not necessarily want to or would do if that person wasn't there in front of them.
Like chewing with your mouth closed.
Yeah.
Or pushing the chair in after you get back up from the table.
You know what I'm saying? Or scraping the fork with your teeth, right? Like, or even holding a spoon with like a monkey grip or something like that.
Like this. Like this. Holding the spoon like this instead of like, like you got some home training. Is that home training? Or is that being proper?
Right? Like, and that's what that's like, so the latter things of what I was saying would be equivalent to home training, right? The common decency and respect that you would hope that is reciprocated, right? Like that is like you said that perfectly, like that sums it up for me. Like it comes down to home training. Problem with that is everybody's home is different. Everybody's home rules are different. Everybody's home culture is different. Everybody's home is not even a home. A lot of it is houses that just look nice. Right. So that's why I say, like, that's what I got for proper, right? Like it's hoity-toity. Equivalent to nice. And like it's the home training, right? That you would hope that everybody would have and share and reciprocate.
Okay.
And that's what I think.
Man, so we got niceness. We got hoity-toity. I don't know. I thought hoity-toity was like an adjective, not really.
Yeah, I guess that's what I think so.
Or is it a verb? Because is it an action? Is it an action? Is the action being taken? Because when I hear that word, what I think of when I hear that word. When I hear hoity-toity, I think of
a behavior. I think
like I see dollies. Doilies. You know what a doily is? I see doilies everywhere.
Like little dolls and stuff.
It's a like a so like if somebody was setting a table it's like these little things that they will put up underneath stuff, and they got like different patterns.
Like the little thing you put on, like the put. Oh, okay, that's like that's got a name for that. It's called a doily.
It's called a doily. They got a name for that. That's what I see all over the place. I see doilies, like hoity toity, like, oh, they must got a bunch of doilies all up underneath stuff.
And China and fancy wares, and you know.
Yeah. But that's crazy though. That's an interesting perspective though, that's proper, hoity toity. When I think of proper, when I hear the word proper, and that's what we doing right now, y'all just joining us. We answering what do you think of when you hear the word proper? Let us know in the chat or the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. I think of like discipline, a standard, and like a discipline. Like it being a discipline, like proper is a discipline. Kind of like when you was saying how to correlate it to like every home is different, and it's because the disciplines are different, you know,
everywhere.
So like I look at it as a discipline, a standard, you know, where it's like, okay, this is a way you should conduct yourself. You know, I definitely agree with the home training thing because, you know, it does start there, but that's where it comes. That's where I guess we first experience being proper is somebody in home, you know, telling you that thing like, you know, don't hold your spoon like this, you know, or breaking you from allowing you to do it for a certain age, but then breaking the habit once you get to a certain age and be like, no, this is the proper way that you do that. And they like, well, I thought just getting the food in my mouth was what was the point. You know, and then we deal with that. So, and it's like,
oh man,
you know, and then it's like, where did we get that from? Where did we get that? It had to be held like this. So, you know, so yes, I see it as a certain discipline, because everybody doesn't see it the same. I see it as a standard. I also see it. I also think of it as like when I hear the word, I think of it like almost like a way of a characteristic of a person in their intentions. I know that's kind of like some connected dots, but when we get like the colloquialisms of like, you know, I'm trying to be properly informed, or, you know, or I need proper instructions, you know, because we've used the word in so many different meaning applications.
I didn't even think about it those other ways like that. Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'm like, you know, because it's like when you first think of it, you got to figure out how's it being used first.
Exactly, right. Exactly.
You know, like what's the intentions?
Yeah.
So, you know, so I get that too, like as a characteristic, like intentions, because you have to try to figure it out first, since we don't have a standard. We don't have an agreed upon idea of what it is in colloquial communication, you know, because, and we also take so many words and make it slang. You know, like I think Snoop Dogg used it. What he say? To break me off a proper chunk, I think I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. You know, so like a proper chunk, You know, so it's like when you hit, you know, like we get it. Like that's what I think, God. Like it's just like, okay, it's you know, it's being presented in so many different styles and contexts that, you know, yeah, I get the discipline, I get the standards, I get the intent on it. Um, I get that I have to figure out, you know, how it's being used or why it's being used, the context of why it's being used.
Hell yeah.
You know. So yeah, so that's what we got. That's what we got on that. What we think of when we hear the word proper. Y'all let us know in the comment section. Huh?
I'm curious what the definition gonna be now.
Yeah, definitely. We about to go ahead and get to that right now. Y'all let us know what y'all think in the chat or the comment section below. What you think of when you hear the word proper?
You know, when you was talking about the proper way to hold a spoon, right? And somebody breaking them out of doing this or allowing them to do this for so long. I thought about my granddaughter, and I thought about, you know, baby girl, that's not the right way. You gotta the proper way is to hold it like this. And she'd be like, oh, but why? And I don't really have a why. Other than that's the proper way. Like, what's the why? Like, what? Like, why? Like, besides that, make you look savage. Like, what's the difference? Like, what's the why? Like, is this more better for my wrist and my thumb? Like, why? And I don't have the why. So
I know. I know, guys. It's interesting. That's, you know, it's interesting when we had these conversations like that. Like, you know, it allows us to examine more than just the word, but even like our uses of it and those things, that our shared uses of it. Because that's significant, because in a certain day, right, it would be like, don't ask why, just do what I'm telling you to do. You know, that's how I grew up. You know, you know, that's what it was like. What, you don't have a why?
Why, God?
Yeah, it's like you don't have a why. It's because I'm saying that, and I'm not gonna tell you the wrong thing to do, or you're gonna get your hand parts tore up if you still keep doing it like this. You know, I'm gonna beat it in you to change it. I'm gonna beat it in you or out of you. One of you. It's your choice. You know.
That's the only why I got was I'm gonna beat it out you.
And I'm just like, damn, was even it'll make you think, was even the way that we hold a spoon and a fork, utensils, a derivative of the thing that was not deemed as the most gravest criminal act in human history.
Oh man, that's interesting. So as soon as you said that, like they didn't break you, I thought about my granddaughter. I was like, man,
it's wild. It's wild. But let's jump into this definition. So, y'all, we are smoking on proper. And we got the definition right here for proper. Proper is an adjective, and 1A, referring to one individual only. Referring to one individual only. 1B, belonging to one, own. C, appointed for the liturgy of a particular day. And if y'all don't know what a liturgy is, that's like a some type of religious ceremony. Okay, y'all look that up. I had to look it up. That's how I know. 1D, represented heroically in natural color. All right. Then we have and that heretically or heroically is like heretically.
Hierarchy, like in the hierarchy.
Yeah. You know, like it'll come from you got a nose like you got your mama nose. You know, or and your brother got it too, and your sister got it, and all the kids got that. Even though some might be a little lighter brown, a little darker brown, we all got that from that parent. All right. So, and they talking about in color with it, but I'm talking about in living color with it. So then we got two, belonging characteristically to a species or individual, and that's where I kind of put that together. Uh, Characteristically to a species or individual, peculiar. All right. But then don't be upset at your mama nose or your daddy nose or your daddy lips, because that's good looking. Okay.
Handsome.
That's handsome. That's excellent. All right. Even in its British, it's utterly absolute. Absolute. Okay. So then we got 6, strictly limited to a specific thing, place, or idea. Okay. What else we got here? Then we have correct. Strictly accurate. Correct. 7B says it's archaic, but it's virtuous and respectable. Then we have C, strictly decorous, or decorous, strictly decorous. Decorous. I added an I in there. Gentle. Okay. Then we have 8, marked by suitability, rightness, and appropriateness. Is fit. Then we have 9, being a mathematical subset that does not contain all the elements of the inclusive set from which it was derived. So that's being used in mathematical equations in some type of calculus or physics or something. Then we have it as a noun. The parts of the mass that are vary according to the liturgical calendar. As a noun again, the part of a missal or breviary containing the proper of the mass and the offices proper to the holy days of the liturgical year. All right. And then we see it last but not least as an adverb, in a thorough manner, completely. In a thorough manner, completely. So we have belonging to one's own, referring to one individual, good looking, handsome, peculiar, excellent, utter, absolute, correct, limited to a specific thing, place, or idea, virtuous, respectable, gentle, fit, complete, in a thorough manner. And liturgical is spiritual in nature, biblical in origin. So proper. Now let's see what the thesaurus gives us. So God, you was touching on it right there. We see that word too popping up here. We saw polite. That's a form of niceness.
Mm-hmm.
So we see as in polite is given to us as in correct, as in formal, as in appropriate, and as in characteristic. Okay.
Characteristic.
Okay. Okay. So let's start with polite. As in polite, following the established traditions of refined society and good taste. Refined society and good taste. So what that would tell us is, oh man, I'll bring it right back. So what that would tell us is, I seen that happen when it happened. What that would tell us is that holding our spoon like this, like this, is not. I think it's safe to say that it is not refined and in good taste.
That's it. It's just not polite.
You found the answer. Because it's not polite.
Because it's not polite. It's gonna hurt somebody's feelings.
That's horrible.
That's horrible.
I mean, whenever we gotta tell the babies, I know we gotta tell the babies something, but I'm just like, wow.
I don't want to say that.
I'm just saying, but I'm just like, damn, like
I don't want to say that, God.
Like I gotta say it's polite just so you don't hurt nobody's feelings and you trying to get your food down, you know what I'm saying? Like you just trying to eat, but it's somebody's feelings gonna be hurt. Look at the way they're eating.
Look at the way they're eating. Oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting me. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yep, it isn't polite. Okay. So we have similar words. Polite, satisfactory, respectable, correct, acceptable, decorous, niece, adequate, formal, decent. It isn't decent.
Man.
It isn't decent. It isn't elegant. Dress. Oh man, befitting, genteel, seemly, relevant, gracious, tolerable, dignified, prim, de rigueur. Is that what that is? De rigueur?
I was gonna say de rigueur, but de rigueur sound better.
Okay, permitted, apt, dressy, compatible, authorized, congenial, stuffy, harmonious. It isn't harmonious to the dinner table. It's not kosher. You heard that? Material, allowed. It isn't allowed. Priggish. And it's or stiff. This is crazy. Okay, so then we have proper as in correct, being in agreement with the truth or fact or standard. Okay, we got a standard in there too.
Okay, because it actually might hurt like this. Right? That might be a truth that the biologist or somebody got to say, or orthopedist got to tell us that this is going to harm you if you eat like this. But so far, it's just polite.
So far,
it's just not polite.
It's just not polite. Yeah, because it would be creating a truth or or trying to get some facts out of it, pulling something out your hand parts for real. Like, that's crazy though. When we talk about the inception of it, but then it goes to correct, accurate, true, good, precise, right, exact, so logical, valid, legitimate, dead on, perfect, veracious, on the money, bang on, sound, spot on,
I like
on,
that.
on target, rigorous, strict, flawless, impeccable, stringent, faultless, infallible, letter perfect, errorless, and inerrant. So
Hmm.
that's not too bad. That's, you know, like all of these things right here are things that you want clicking in areas of your life on the proper side. You know, you want violent stuff. You definitely want it to be legitimate. We don't do prison.
You definitely want to be on the money.
You want to be on the money. You want to be rigorous with it. That's consistent, on target. You know, some stuff you want to be flawless. You know,
Even inerrant.
even inerrant. Yeah, you know, you want to be faultless at times, errorless. Remember, we was talking about trying to have more wins, so we have,
Yeah,
you know, less learning lessons.
that's it.
You know,
You know, and these are just things that you can just strive to do and strive to be, right? Because there's no way to actually be perfect.
no, no. I
to,
mean,
be, to be faultless.
no, you just
to be an error, to be errorless. Like there's no
take
way.
take it up with your maker. Like, you know, like they only say there was one guy. I ain't heard of no other stories about. I heard a lot of stories about a lot of different people, but only one story person got it perfect. You know, like, so we trying to be logical. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, we trying to be
Precise.
precise, accurate,
True.
true, all
Good.
day. Yeah, good.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely in our pursuit of proper.
Definitely trying to be sound.
Definitely want to be sound, right? So we got as informal, marked or showing careful attention to set forms and details. So there we go. That's part of that right there. Formal, correct, nice, decorous, ceremonious, solemn, uh,
Solemn.
solemn, civil, stiff, punctilious, starchy, polite, stilted, polished, stately, sober, refined, courtly, chivalrous, gallant, stiff-necked, stiff neck, courteous. Keep seeing that pop up. Genteel and red carpet treatment.
Genteel keeps popping up too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice is popping up. Correct keeps popping up too. You know, but now we're seeing things like being civil. You know, improper. Let's check out appropriate. Appropriate, we see meeting the requirements of a purpose or situation.
I like that.
That's appropriate, suitable, fitting, good, fitted, adequate, right, happy, meeting requirements of a purpose or situation. It's appropriate to be happy when you're taking care of business every day. Applicable, meet, in order, pretty, needed, acceptable, balance, apt, becoming, fallacious,
Felicitious.
felicitous,
No, that's not. You was right. I think you was right. Felicious.
fallacious, required, benefiting, befitting, satisfactory, requisite, deserve, decent, able, correct, capable, competent, justified, decorous, qualified, rightful, just, trained, serviceable. What else we got here? Respectable. It's that condign, tolerable, kosher, harmonious, cut off. Sometimes you gotta cut out. You gotta cut out. You gotta cut out the, you know, the bad stuff.
when it's appropriate.
That's right. Consonant, pitch perfect, seemingly, congruous, and compassionate. Through all that, still want you to be compassionate. And then we got characteristic, serving to identify as belonging to an individual or group. Characteristic, distinctive. And this is what I was talking about earlier, because that word popped up. I didn't know this word was gonna pop up, but this is what I was talking about. Like when your shirt that says, you know, we out here, we just spread everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, how do we know that there is a we? Because it's characteristics of the we. It's standards. It's
that we set.
Right. I mean, but we following them so
Correct.
so you can identify it, you know.
Correct.
So that's where it's like, so and we would say, you know, that's proper, you know, like we wouldn't say that because we probably wouldn't use that word, but understanding this now, we like, yeah, that's proper.
Yeah.
So characteristic, distinctive, distinct, typical, distinguishing, diagnostic, individual, peculiar, identifying, classic, symptomatic, unmistakable, usual, general, discriminating, specific, common, normal, generic, special, particular, regular, identifiable, idiosyncratic, pronounced, especial, model, paradigmatic.
Yeah, paradigmatic. Yeah. No, not the same.
Paradigmatic. I could dig it.
I can dig it. Paradigmatic.
Paradigmatic. Okay. And then archetypal. So looking at this right here, I'm like, man, I'm looking at some of these things, and you know, a lot of these things we get demonized. I know I have been, but it's almost like we're being discriminating, right? This seems. I had a conversation, and I think me and Cold Season on Brunch with the Fellas, our last episode, we was talking about this, and I was making a comment like everybody's racist, and when, you know, I was making a little point about it or whatever, but this kind of gives me something to connect the dots, because it's just like, okay, serving to identify belonging to an individual or group characteristics. When we say like it's not proper behavior, we understanding like behavior is taught. So the person who is taught it, you know, thinks that it's the proper behavior because that's what they taught.
Correct.
So when we look at now time how these words play into things and how everybody has meanings, they won't know that. But, you know, I wouldn't know it. Okay, unless I looked into it like we do each and every Sunday right here on Cigar Sundays Live. But to see discriminating and you put it in something where I'm not leaning towards proper being a bad word from this definition, learning it, being introduced to this. But when I see something like this, I see a word that says like discriminating. And then we take it outside of, we look at the context that this is predominantly introduced into our vocabulary or our world, our actual life. And it's like, okay, well, if that's a part of proper in characteristic, identifying belonging to individuals or groups, then it makes it normal if I say, if somebody tells me like, oh, you discriminate, because what Cole was saying was that if a black person is saying they don't like ninjas, then they just discriminating on their own kind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that's true. But everybody has something to discriminate about. Everybody's discriminating about something because depending on your life experience, you may have dealt with people who think a certain way. And when you encounter those people who think a certain way, you have to do something to not allow yourself to you have to do something to make sure that you stay on your path.
Correct.
If it does not align with theirs.
Yeah, discrimination, discernment, about the same
right
thing.
So you have to discriminate, therefore you would have to have some type of characteristic, a distinctive something about a specific or normal about those certain people that you come in contact with and how they act and how they think and how they do what they doing. So
And
I'm saying
for this purpose, something identifiable.
Right. Even as it's definitely identifiable, but that's how you know. We don't, we don't know it till we see it or we hear it. So that's why I was just like, nah, I think everybody got racism in them because it's part of American culture, because colonization started the whole idea of racism. So yeah, it's just interesting that in a word like proper, we see a word like this surrounded by so many other positive words that we would say positive being used in this context, even just serving to identify belonging to an individual or group. And even though they give us this context of malaria and other diseases that are proper in the tropics, I mean, we could easily change out the words and finish and rearrange that sentence. Like the ninjas and the bees owls that are proper to the hood. We just don't talk like that.
Correct.
But people think like that. People think like that. So we got proper referred to one individual only, belonging to one, to own. We got proper as an own. We got appointed for liturgy of a particular day. That's like a master of ceremonies in a religious or spiritual type of situation. Then we got this hereditary thing in color. Then we have being characteristics that are related to characteristically speaking to species or individual, very peculiar. We got good looking, we got handsome, we got excellent, we got utter, absolute, limited to a specific thing, place, or idea. We have correctness, we have virtuous, respectable, we have genteel, we have fit, and then we also have complete in a thorough manner. So y'all let us know what y'all think about the definition in the comment section, and we're gonna go ahead and get to our second question. So, God, growing up, what were you told was proper, and does it still apply today?
I was told not to eat like this. And it still applies today.
Well, why?
Now I want to know why. Right now, I'm actually gonna find a good reason and find out why. What I was taught was be a gentleman, to be kind, to be nice, be respectful, to open doors for elderly people, to open doors for females, hold doors for people that's walking behind me. I was raised to always, say please and thank you and greet the room when I walk into a place, right? I was raised to always wear a suit and tie when you go to church and when you go to work, and always look corporate, or professional, right? Because that was safe. I didn't think it applied then, even though in hindsight I understand and know why it did. Does it apply today to me, for me specifically? No. Because I think that your output is more, has more value than your appearance, right? If you know what I'm saying, like I care about what you can do. I was taught, just the regular things like, you always put yourself on the side of the street when you walk with your family, to where you take the blunt of the vehicle so that they stay safe. You can push them out the way or whatever. That applies. Like that ain't going. And there's a good reason for that, right? Because I want y'all to live, and I'm responsible for everybody, for everything, and part of my responsibility is to take the hit. So that's the why. What else was I taught was proper? Yeah, like to me, it seemed like a lot of hoity-toity, superficial things, right? Like, because it always seemed like it's always came to like people's first impressions and how people saw you, right? And for whatever reason, I've always had a problem with that. I've always understood it.
You're a black man in America,
right? And
surprise.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you had a problem. No, do tell why you, black man, why you had a problem with.
Like you see my skin and you automatically put me in a box, and I don't like that, right? Like, what's my output?
Man.
Right? What's my value, right? And you can't tell that if you just look and you decide with no knowledge. Like, that's a terrible decision-making process, in my opinion, right? I wouldn't want to go nowhere with you thinking like that. But
let me ask you something real quick though, on that topic real quick though.
Yeah.
I gotta mess with you real quick. So so this is sincere though, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are you coping with that trauma, God? How are you coping with that trauma?
With trauma?
With that trauma, with that trauma of, I'm gonna have to just my complexion is gonna get judged before I even show the content of my character, before a layer of the content of my character is even gonna have a chance to even exemplify itself.
So what I do to cope with that is I choose to be correct first and then comfortable second.
Okay, I'm glad, because I wanted you to share that, because we're not getting no check for it. So you know what I'm saying? So the God said to do what? How do we handle that?
Be correct first.
Be correct first.
Right, and then comfortable second.
And be comfortable second. That's
like
peace, guy.
what's the policy? What are the guidelines? What are the rules? What can I do? How can I be comfortable in this environment that I mean, I wouldn't be in an uncomfortable environment, first of all, but if I was in something that I had to be in that was so terrible, I would find my way within that.
No doubt. No doubt. Because they just not because those are traumas that African American Black people really lived. And we, you know what I'm saying? And they just said it ain't gonna be no check for that. So like,
there ain't gonna be no check for that guy.
You know what I'm saying? So like at first, guy, I ain't even have a you know, I had my beef, but I ain't had nothing to keep. I ain't had nothing to wear on my sleeve. You know what I'm
different
saying?
though when they say it.
But now I got something to wear on my sleeve, and I'm just
like, you know, now it's like, what
so
you mean? What you mean?
Yeah, now I got something to wear on my sleeve.
Yeah.
You know, so I just gotta. I want to point out those things that we experience, you know, but then also make sure that people notice that, like, if dang, I go through that too. What's the solution? Because nobody else cares.
Yeah, you got to be correct, and then you got to be comfortable. You can't get comfortable first. If you get comfortable first, you're gonna be wrong. You got to be correct first, and then get comfortable.
Right? Definitely. So, right now, y'all, we talking about growing up. What were you told was proper, and does it still apply today? Let us know in the comment section. You know, share some things with us that you grew up with, that you were told that was proper. You know, a lot of things we share similarities growing up, and some of the things you were saying, like, you know, when you go to church, you gotta wear a shirt and tie. You know, and I recall like so many different things. Man, because you know, like I was a knucklehead as a kid, so like the teachers could spank me because that's how much I wasn't trying to remember the proper stuff. And but it was so many things between what we were talking about earlier, like the home training. You know, when you get in somebody's car, you know, ask them before you just start rolling down the window or you start touching anything in a vehicle. You know, if even things with animals where it's like, you know, if the person has a dog, like, and you like it, you ask them, can you pet their animal first? You know, like you don't just go up to them and just, because what if your ass get bit? The dog don't know you. You don't know if dog friendly or not. You know, I still think that applies to today. And I still think getting in people's car and touching stuff applies to today too. You know, other things like being courteous when you go into people's homes. You know, you don't touch nothing. You don't. You know, you sit where they tell you to sit at. You know, you don't put your hands on stuff. You don't pick up stuff. Going in the stores, I remember going in the store. It used to be like, you know, don't touch nothing. Don't ask for nothing. Don't even look at nothing, because you ain't getting nothing. So,
That's so funny.
So don't even look at it. You know, and oh no, I quickly started having me some money like 11 years old. I wasn't with that going in the store with the nothing no more. Like, nah. Every time we go in here and I want something, I need to grab. You know. But even today though, like that lesson still resonates with me, because it's like because I look at it like, okay, was it proper? I mean, it was the proper thing to do when you are a parent and you got mouths to feed and you on a budget and you trying to stick to your budget. You know, people may disagree with the language that was being used, but I mean, everybody now be like, oh, kids will be kids and they badass kids. So you just talking to them all kinds of, you know, not considering the language that the communication habits that you're establishing with the children, you know. But I look at it now, like, does it apply now? Because that's part of our question that we answering. Yeah, because with having discipline to go in the store and just get what you need to go in there and go get, you know, I have a place to self-reflect on and say, you know what? Yeah, I gotta have a talk like Nana V ain't with me right now, but I gotta act like Nana V is the one going in the store about, you know, finna pay for all this food or whatever I'm going in here to get, and be like, look, when you go in here, we got money for food, and that's it. You know, like like if it, you know, like if it's just one thing, okay, well, if it's part of my school meal, then in my lunch box, you know, then I can get that. Okay, so nah, you gotta focus on lunchbox stuff. It ain't no extras, you know. Getting one snack for after school, that's what it is. You know, it's laid out. So I get to take that into the store with that discipline because I have other financial goals and other budget needs that I need to meet. So I get to have that discipline and not look at it like it's negative. I get to find the properness of it, you know, regardless of how it was communicated to me, or, you know, any you know, any whatever social narratives or colloquialisms, you know, like, oh, y'all was struggling. Like, yeah, we struggling. Yeah,
got me.
struggling. Yeah, you know, but we here now. So chewing with your mouth. What was another thing? Like chewing with your mouth open, um, chewing with your mouth closed, sitting at a table. Like, you couldn't do that. They wouldn't allow us to do that at home, especially not at grandma's table, like grandma and granddad's table. They wouldn't allow us to chew without mouth open. You know, I had a couple of aunts that might let it slide, like, he just, you know, but I think that was because they got told they couldn't chew with their mouth, you know.
They just let them slide.
Right. They didn't like that. You know, that was one of the things that they didn't like growing up. So they didn't.
They get their get back right now.
Yeah, you know, sending us out the house to be, you know, chewing with our mouth open, instead of reinforcing the narrative constantly. So, like, you don't practice like that and you don't play like that. So and it was interesting, you know, it was interesting. Even things like, you know, coming home from school, you're not supposed to go outside and play when your parents ain't at home, type stuff, you know.
I remember that one too.
Yeah, like that was the proper thing, you know, to do. I mean, it was just so many things that I look at this, just like there's a lot of standards and rules, you know, but they was all required. When we look at that definition, you know, they was all things that required some respect, things that required, they applied to me specifically, you know, because when it says belonging to one, you know, your own, I see where those were the rules applied. And it's just like, you know, look, you got to learn to follow these things. You got to learn to hold your fork the correct way, or hold your knife, or learn how to cut with the knife, and you know, so yeah, so, you know, and I think those things still apply today. I do think a lot of those things still apply today, because you just, that saying that we talk about, where like it's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, like, even I just couldn't imagine, like, us going out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could, and you just, and we just, you know, we just like this.
Double fisted.
You know, I couldn't imagine it. Like not even somewhere light, like just Fridays, like I couldn't imagine it just because
I couldn't imagine it, but I couldn't imagine us sitting through it without laughing our ass off out loud and like talking about
that. yeah, but I mean, in that case, we probably doing it and recording it or something. In that case, we probably because it's only gonna last a couple. Now, if we doing it for the whole, for the appetizers and the entrees, then we really we might as well be recording it. But but I couldn't see that because of just how we was raised. Like that's just not, it's just not common practice to go out intentionally and say, let me just abandon all the things that I was taught that have been working, because I've been in corporate settings. I've been in.
I'm put my elbows on the table.
Yeah, like putting your elbows on the table. That's something else too.
Like why? I ain't never understood that though. What did that mean? Like, what was the point of that? The elbows on the table. Like it must be
like don't put your elbows on the table.
Yeah, I always got that. Like, don't put your elbows on the table.
Oh no.
Don't put your hat on the table. Like I thought that was like superstitious more so than proper.
Well, hats on the tables is military actually.
Is it?
Yeah. So like, you know how on the mess deck, you're not supposed to even wear a hat on the mess deck.
Yeah, that go in the back of your, yeah.
Right. So you gotta take your cover off, put it in your pocket. Yeah. Right. So that is from military tradition, that because the mess deck a lot of times is used as an emergency dispensary during times of combat. So like World War IIs and I and all them other civil wars and all that type of stuff going on. So that's why you taking your hat off to you cover it. That's why you uncover for the respect of that, and you can't put your cover on the table, like that's disrespectful to the dead. That's what it is, to all the fallen soldiers.
Correct.
So that's the proper thing to do, right? That's a custom, that's a courtesy. That's a respectable thing, because we saw respectable. That's where that's coming from. But the elbows on the table, I just think that was always a thing of, I don't know, giving everybody their room, their space, and it's rude. No elbows on the table. That would be something. You looking that up right now?
Yeah.
What was no elbows on the table for, right?
It says the rule against putting your elbows on the table is a centuries-old tradition that originally served as a practical way to prevent the table from flipping over.
Oh wow! Because you putting too much weight on the table.
Too much weight on the table to flip over.
Wow. So interestingly enough, people have carried on this tradition of teaching it's bad table manners.
It's bad table manners. Like it's bad
to put your elbows on the table. But nobody said because it's gonna flip over. Now, now we got to answer for it. Well, why I can't put my elbows on the table? Because you might flip it over. I'm not that heavy. I'm not that big. I ain't gonna. Then we gonna get
4 legs.
They got 4 whole legs. We need to get a more sturdy dining room table. We need to get one. Why? So you can put your elbows on the table? No, just don't put your elbows on the table.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so what moving to our third question, which ties into that. What historically is the idea of being proper in the Black community concept? And y'all let us know what y'all think growing up. You know, what were you told was proper, and does it still apply to you today? Let us know in the comment section below to know when you're watching the show, y'all. So what we got, God? What historically is the idea of being proper in the Black community concept? Because you know we have to use Black community concept nowadays because you know they looking real unfamiliar.
You know, when I look at the word historical, and I think idea, and I think of my grandmother and her mother, my grandfather, I think the idea was safety, right? How can I make sure that this young person behaves in a way that is safe when they leave this house so they can return? So make sure that they say yes sir, no sir. Make sure they bow their heads and they do all the little things that they know they got to do to stay safe, to look polite, to come across as nice, to make sure that they are looking like they're being respectful at all times, because they were raised to be respectful and to show respect, and they didn't want somebody to mistake their behavior for something other than what their intentions were, right? That's what I think. I think, like, even the whole, you know, I think about me and my dad. We clashed a lot on appearance and how I dressed, because I always wanted to express myself my way, right? My clothes didn't necessarily have to match all the time. I might put on 2 different socks, 2 different sneakers. Like I just felt the way I always felt and wanted to just be me, and wanted the freedom to do that. And he always wanted me to be cookie cutter and look like everybody else, right? Don't stand out at all. And right or wrong, I don't know, right? I know I'm here today, successful, you know, living my life, grandfather, right? Being super productive, happy, right? But I did go through a great number of years where I had to conform to a standard that wasn't mine, right? And to get to and be able to maintain my happiness, I had to be willing to conform to that standard. And and because I had good home training of practice, right, that standard wasn't too that standard wasn't too foreign or too strange to where I wasn't able to complete it and do it right. So I was able to fall in line, and when I was able to exhale, I exhaled.
That's right.
Right, and that's how that goes, right? But that's what I think about when I see that sentence. The historical idea. I think all this stuff has to do with making sure that we behaved in a way that the police didn't want to kill us. No white person wanted to lynch us. Nobody wanted to accuse us of anything crazy, right? We didn't even look like we might have stole something because we didn't even dress that way, right? Like our shirts was tucked in, our gig line was gigging, right? Our shoes was even shine.
Yeah, we used to shine, shoot,
you know what I'm saying? I
shiny
remember
shoes, clean shoes used to mean something.
Used to mean something, guy. Like I remember being clean, and it meant a lot.
And they do now, right? But we didn't hear about people stepping on your your loafers, you know, back in the day, and then somebody died. Like now, somebody step on a sneaker,
you know what I'm saying?
A tennis shoe, and daggone, you know, and it's
But
that's what now they on the t-shirt.
Now
it's
they
ridiculous.
on the t-shirt. Yeah, but that's what I think. I think is I think safety is when I think about that question. That's how it hits me. I think our ancestors put into us a fear of being safe and make sure we act right.
make sure you act right when you leave this house. Dad going
so that you don't die.
so that you so that your hind parts make it back.
So your hind parts make it back.
For real. Definitely, guys. So y'all just joining us. We smoking on proper tonight. Make sure to smash that like button. We appreciate y'all for that. Please, please, with the sugar on top. We are answering currently our third question. What historically is the idea of being proper in the Black community concept? I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that safety and that concept being outside the house, but I think inside the house, we was trying to have a concept of where people were striving to do better. Now, I understand how, because I was just having this conversation with Cold Seasons, how we were asking the United States, the whole civil rights movement was Black people asking the United States to be considered equal, to have a voice. So even with the desegregation things and all of that, it was asking to have access to be treated like the white folks, fed just as fairly. Okay.
We want to be treated like white folks.
Not
realizing they hate each other.
You know what I'm saying, guys? So like, that's the tough pill for people to swallow though when you look at it like that.
Not realizing World War I and II, it's all them.
Yeah, like we had nothing to do with that. So when I look at that, I'm thinking like, okay, as we're getting all of these play points, we're getting all of these ideas and these plays from from European teachings. So the one in the house with the picket fence versus the land with the mules and the chickens and the ducks and all that, because that was being traded for that, that was being trade off, but not being trade off to us. That's what southern landowners was trading in to try to be more city sedity. So our narrative was we were just poor. We were just trying to have something. So we were striving for something better. And I mean, based on their stories. And then we seen based on the slavery story. If we just came over here and had nothing, and then it was slavery, and then you freed us, and then we had to fend for ourselves. It wasn't no handout, no money, no help. Just a few good white folks that may have helped you, and whoever else might have helped you out. Like, what I'm saying? Like that's the story, God, right? I told you,
Thank you, Mr. White Man. You saved us. Oh gosh, thank you.
I'm just saying, like, like for real, peace. Sticks. So it's like, okay, if that's what the narrative is, right, then that's what the history is. That's what we're gonna go with. That's on the claim, right? So families were looking, and when we talk about the Black community concept, we seen it where people work with each other. People help this person get a job and help their children do this and help this. When we had Black communities, because we wouldn't have had the whole civil rights history without there being Black communities to be able to organize that type of stuff and get it done. Because
not a concept, but a whole community.
It was a real whole community, So, people put their resources together. People did these things. So they were looking for better. So it was like we was talking about earlier, the respect thing, you know, in an aspect of like, or trying to be excellent or virtuous, right? They it would be like, okay, well, if I'm teaching my kids that when they leave the house, they should conduct themselves this way. Like, yeah, they have to do it to make it back home safe in this environment. But it's also Mr. Ali is teaching he teaching his children the same thing, because it's important for our community to understand that this is how we treat each other.
Correct.
Because we are not each other's enemy.
Correct.
You know, it's already a war going on against us when you leave this community, when you leave the comforts of somebody who will say to you, hey, you know you ain't got no business doing that. I'm gonna tell your mama, or I'm gonna tell your daddy. You know, now we in a world where you say that, now the parents show up and want to fight you.
What you snitching on my kid for?
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that, I think that it was a desire that properness of what was being communicated was not limited to that survival, but also what we have to maintain in our own community, so that way we can be prepared for anything that come our way. Like, because if I know that you conduct yourself like this, and I know, then can nobody come tell me that them children done did this? Can nobody tell me that Mr. Ali did that? Like, and that's not to say that people don't have they days. We say that nobody perfect. They only got one story for one perfect person. Okay.
But my first thought wouldn't be to lean into believing the negative first.
You would think back to your principles of how, hold up, like,
hold on, that's not what we do.
That's not what we do around here.
That's not what we do around. You'll start investigating stuff in your mind, at least, and start thinking.
Right off top, I'm downtown or something. I see Mr. Ali's son going through something, and I'm just like, hold on, let me call Mr. Ali, man. They got your son up here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. They talking about he did this, did that. Like, I may just be riding through, not even, not any had no business over there. But I see somebody who I know, and I'm just like, nah, that's not their characteristic. That's not even the situation they supposed to be in right now.
Clearly a mistake.
It's clearly a mistake. I can't go over there and stop it, because who knows if they really on some BS. So what I got to do, I got to call the parent, because the parent is the person who's ultimately responsible, who can go and intervene, who they have to interact with.
Correct.
Especially even nowadays, they can say, you get back, you get tased and shit. Like, hey.
or shot in the face.
Or shot in the face, right? You like, nah, never mind. I'm just going to pull off and call this that.
Oh, my God.
Like, damn.
That's what I was going to pull off.
Yeah. Now, too late. You should have been pulled off.
You should have been pulled off when I told you to the first time. Man, terrible.
Yeah, so I think, historically, the idea of being proper in the Black community concept was the safety and to be better versions of yourself, to do better, to treat each other better in your own community, because we are still talking about the community, that's your daily interaction of the people around you. Because I had somebody say to me the other day, like, they said that, they don't want to come out their house and speak to everybody. They hate coming out their house having to say hi to this person or hi to that person or hi. And I'm just like, but do you realize it's some places where people live where, like, you can't speak to the people, for whatever situations, that they like to carry grudges, or they want to be They want to live. They want to carry a city mentality, like where you in a building with a whole bunch of people that you don't know. Like you don't know nobody living in the. It's like living in a downtown building, any pick of downtown, you know, and there's a couple corporations around there that hire people and fire people and do what they do. That's where the jobs at, banks and all this other stuff. So a lot of people that live in the building, there's nobody living in the building for 6, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years. The building is in and out. It's midtown high rise living. Don't nobody really know each other. Don't nobody get to know each other. So people not speaking like that. You know, that's a social climate. So I was just like, I said to them, I said, well, you know, the way we grew up was you speak to your neighbors. That's what we was taught. And it don't have to be a whole conversation. It could be high and by, you know, like you're not too good to say good morning, are you? Are you too good to say good night if you see somebody? Are you too good to, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, well, if you are, then that's fine, you know, like it don't matter. But when you taught that, you know, it's a difference between you being taught it and you never been taught it. And now you complaining about it being in a better place in life and you don't want to speak to nobody who ain't bothering you. You know? So that was just interesting to me because I was just like, dang, here's a person who actually has who has grown up where that wasn't what they taught, because we grew up in the same household periods of time, and now they're in a better place, and you know, just people being cordial is a bother. You know, like they ain't ask them to borrow no sugar or nothing. You know, they ain't asking to borrow a cup of rice, nothing. You know,
sound like one of those females that go to the gym damn near naked, talking about everybody looking at me. I'm uncomfortable.
You know, so I was just like, I don't know. That's we don't come from that. I'm like, just speak back, but say hey. You know, and keep it pushing.
Exactly.
You know, that's all. Like it really don't hurt that much, family. But y'all let us know what y'all think. What historically is the idea of being proper in the Black community concept? You know, let us know what y'all think. We're gonna holler at some folks in the chat real quick before we go to our next question. What's good, That's Sticks. Sticks 99. What's good, family? Then we got Bug in the building. What up, Bug? At lovely ATV. But yeah, so getting to our fourth question, how does social media influence what people think is proper today? And I know we're a part of it. We're probably influencing what people think is proper right now, right? But I think we more just trying to figure out the proper application of
what is proper.
What is proper, right? Where do we put it in all of this, in this world of words and meanings and people being offended by we didn't talk about how, well, we talking about it now. We talk about how in the Black community specifically, you know, you would be teased. Oh, you talking proper, you sound proper. Now how do we get to that, even with, you know, hold your fork the correct way, you know, not putting your elbows on the table, and so all of these customs, courtesies, mannerisms, but then when it comes to articulating yourself and communicating, oh, you proper.
One of the words that kept popping up that I saw that I gravitated towards especially since it was a part of the definition, appropriate, right? Being fit. It was part of being fit, right? I think social media has almost abolished appropriateness and kind of makes everything appropriate. Like if it passes the YouTube or the whatever social media platform moral code, then it's appropriate, right? And I think that we've given up on our own intelligence and leaned in heavy on the artificial intelligence for our appropriateness, right? And unless we get a warning and it says that this is going to offend somebody or this is going to violate something, folks are going out of their ways to just share stuff.
Just share it, right?
It's like they're not even just sharing it to like their close friends. It's like, yo, let me show you what I did today. Like they share it to everybody, and it just comes up on timelines, and everybody's just looking at a bunch of weird stuff, and it's like, what? Like, why is this on my timeline? Right? And the things people are doing. It was a time where shame was a real punishment.
we need to bring back shame.
Yeah, shame is done, son.
Shame is done.
Yeah, cancel culture got rid of shame, right? Because what came a part of cancel culture was exposed culture.
Okay.
Right. So everybody's exposed and everybody's doxing, everybody's pulling out video or something. Like, hell, you even got people that signing NDAs that's talking, doing interviews, knowing that they signed NDAs and stuff, and it's like they don't even care about the penalty, right? Because they get more money in exposing the person that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the things that we grew up thinking, like I said, that would have shamed us, right? No longer seem shameful. And it just seemed like content, right? It just seems like another person trying to get a like, and that's how everybody sees it. You look at, and it's the whole society, right? Because you look at the president. Yeah, I saw that meme that you showed last week, that picture that he posted of himself or whatever with the bombs in the back and stuff like that, all the explosions. Like that would have been seen as one, definitely unpresidential, right? It'd have been unprofessional. It'd have been looked at as being immature, right? It'd have been looked at as provocative, just considering that the potentiality of it being real, coming from the highest person in the country, it would be disgusting and downright just bad. But he was able to do it. He posted it, and everybody shared it and shared it and shared it, and they shared how they felt about it, and it just kept getting more and more exposure, more and more attention, more and more and more and more and more. And it's like this thing that seems to be so shameful, that seems like it should be shameful.
seems pretty proper.
It seems like this is how you fight now. This is the proper way to do things. You like. So I think that's what social media has done. It has eradicated shame and replaced shame with what is proper. Like it's kind of the way that like we do with slang, and we make it mean something different. Right, but we make it mean something different for all of us, and then it means something different for everybody. that's how I feel like social media is doing that.
That's different. So social media is making shame, and it's a lot. It's furthering people's picking and choosing. That's what that sounds like. It sounds like it is enabling more people to pick and choose inaccurately, without having a foundational basis of proper. Yeah, it's definitely doing that for real. Right now, y'all, we are answering, how does social media influence what people think proper is today? Man, I'm definitely gonna go with the idea that it's so many narratives on how to think about stuff, and what's right and what isn't. And I noticed that social media right now has created, the Karen, right?
Right.
So we have people now who are absolutely not victims, but then they will antagonize things and then want to present themselves as victims, but leave out all of their antagonism, So I'm thinking that, that ties in with this proper thing, because the proper thing is to be correct, and to be virtuous and to be respectable. It's to own, it's to own up to one's things, and be thorough, right? That's it. That's what the definition is given. So, I mean, a person who can be thoroughly and messing up too. You can thoroughly mess up. You can thoroughly make a mistake. But but owning up to it and correcting it, right, is learning from it and not allowing yourself to be in the same situation again.
Man, if you don't learn from a thorough mistake, man.
But define what's a thorough mistake. See, you're gonna have your level set of what is a thorough mistake, and then other people may say, you know what, that ain't no mistake to me.
A thorough, but like, just think about that word, thorough mistake. That means you done went through it. Like, you like at some point you knew it was wrong and you just kept on going, and you just, man, if you don't learn your lesson from that,
yeah, that the lesson may be more costly, just because the person doesn't think that it is a thorough of enough lesson.
That's great.
They think that, oh, this light to me, this, so I think that social media, because you go to prison, lose your life, you may not get a second chance, a go at it again. You may not get a go at it again. So that's what I think, though, social media is contributing. It's allowing people to create narratives that blur their discernment, blur their judgment on what is proper. It's encouraging a lot of behavior that isn't considered to be considerate of others, when we were talking about that communal aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's guys like us, who actually try to examine, and analyze the narratives.
I was about to say, we just trying to understand for real, right? Like,
yeah, and look at the definition, analyze the definition, and see how we have been applying it or how we have experienced it in life, and try to figure out how to be better with it, how to
we also accept the definition. That's one thing. That's one thing we do. We have our meanings at first, and the definition is totally different from our meanings. We accept that we were wrong.
That's right.
And so we either stop using the word because we don't like it no more, or we change and make and put it in proper perspective, right? Because it's not just even though the definition say that this is what it means to me. That can't be right, because once we read the definition, that's what we got to go by.
yeah, you're wrong. Just say it. Yeah, I'm wrong. I've said it. I'm wrong.
I'm wrong.
I've been wrong about a lot of these words. I've been wrong. But when I'm right, I'm right. And after I learn it, and then we get right. So definitely, and I think that's a tough thing too. I think social media has people not wanting to admit that, not wanting to admit wrongs. Not having the confidence to look at themselves and be like, I made a mistake. I'm wrong. Because that to me would be the proper thing to do, when we talk about correctness. So we are smoking on the word proper, y'all. And that was question 4. How does social media influence what people think is proper today? Let us know what you think in the comment section below, or in the live chat, depending on when you're watching the show. And we're going to take a quick break right now and head on over to our flavor bombs before we get to our 5th and final question, because we got some crazy stuff going on over here.
The Flavor Bombs, presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
So everybody knows, I mean, if you in America, if you getting around, if you living, if you trying to live, if you struggling, gas prices going higher and everyone is feeling it. Okay. There is no economic class that isn't feeling the prices of this gas. Okay. The effects of this gas and this war and what's going on. So we're going to go take a look at that. Then we got the federal courts are working to limit abortions. So we know that Roe versus Wade got overturned, and what that meant was that women now only have state laws to determine whether or not abortions are legal. And this right here may have just added another hurdle in women's desires to get rid of their babies, or right to freedom of choice. I guess that's the, I guess that isn't as harsh or as real as what I just said. So our third question is, the robots and AI jobs takeover is in full effect, y'all. If you didn't know, now you know. The robots and AI jobs takeover is in full effect. And we got a crazy story that we're going to get into that. So let's go ahead and jump into that real quick.
In consumer news, today marks 61 days since the start of the Iran war, and gas prices keep soaring. A gallon of regular gas averages $4.43 right now. That's up 35 cents this week, and $1.45 since the war began. CBS's Olivia Gasses has more.
We had an airline go down because the markets were trying to allow two airlines to merge, make them stronger, and offer more competition for the American consumer.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy blamed Spirit Airlines' demise on the Biden administration for blocking a merger with JetBlue in 2024. The previous administration denied the deal over concerns it would remove a low-cost carrier and raise prices. The budget airline cited soaring fuel costs driven to historic highs by the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. That disruption now rippling through all of the economy.
It's really been hard because gas over $5 is hard. You know what I mean? This to fill up is like $80.
42% of Americans say they are cutting back on their household spending.
People are not going to spend as freely when they have to fill up their cars. And even if they're not filling up, it's like those high gas prices become a billboard and a signifier for all prices being higher.
With the midterms approaching, President Trump is promising prices will fall once the war ends. But Friday, he dismissed Iran's latest diplomatic offer and downplayed the rising prices.
I thought oil would be much, much higher than it turned out to be. It's going to come crashing down as soon as this war is over, and they're getting decimated.
President Trump also following through on prior threats against NATO allies for, as he put it, not pulling their weight in securing the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, the U.S. announced it would withdraw 5,000 American troops from Germany, whose chancellor said earlier this week that the U.S. had been humiliated by Iranian leadership. Olivia Gazis, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Meanwhile, here in Alabama, AAA reports the average price of gas has risen to $3.94. That's 4 cents more than it was yesterday and 20 cents more than last week.
Yeah, God, what you got on that?
Man, you better start planting your own food before the gas prices start affecting fertilizer prices. Like it takes a while, but everything starts to trickle, right? So you're not really thinking about your belly right now because you're thinking about gas. But as a producer, I'm telling you, like one thing has something to do with the other, and you need to start growing now, right? And that's the only thing that you can do to combat that, because the reality is when you stop, they saying people will stop buying stuff, and on one hand, that's good because now you get to see all the stuff that you didn't necessarily need, right? Cut out all that excess spending. But on the other hand, if those things that you're cutting out are groceries, then that's terrible, and that's something that you can do something about, right? You may not be able to keep chickens, but you can keep quail. They're a whole lot smaller, a whole lot quieter, right? And they drop just as many eggs, if not more. Right?
No doubt. And yeah, we got some tools and resources to help y'all get started with that, and we're gonna make sure that the links is in the description. So
that was crazy, guys.
But yeah, what you're talking about is what's called a lag effect. And anytime that there are, we already saw this before, anytime that there is a disruption in production or manufacturing, a lot of times companies will buy a lot of stuff up front. They try to front load it, but it runs out because the demand is still there. People still buying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when it gets low and they have to wait, which we saw during the pandemic when people just stopped working, production was not happening of things. This is a little different because some infrastructure has been destroyed. It's the difference when people just stop going to work and then, you turn off the machines and then everybody just got to go back to work and, pick up the pace a little bit, work, some extra hours. But when you get a building blown to shreds, blown to smithereens, it takes 2 or 3 years to rebuild that structure.
Correct.
Okay. So what the God is talking about is accurate. We're seeing prices and fuel affects everything. Energy affects every single thing, y'all, because it got to get there. Got to be made. Containers got to be made. Like, go look at this stuff. Like, it's serious. Okay, you want to be in proper position, to be effective. Then you can't wait for it to happen, because if not, you're gonna be out here looking crazy. So if you're not properly planning to prevent piss poor performance and properly paying attention, then you're gonna end up properly, stuck. Definitely. Let's get to this next one, though.
A major federal appeals court ruling is tightening restrictions on access to a commonly used abortion medication in the United States. A New Orleans-based federal appeals court has blocked the mailing of prescriptions for mifepristone, commonly known as the abortion pill, requiring it to be dispensed only in person at clinics. The court says the decision aligns with state policies like Louisiana's, which recognize an unborn child as a legal.
Now that's cold right there. You see what they just did with that?
You can't get it in the mail. You got to get it in person.
You got to get it in person. So if you can't get it in the mail now, and you have to get it in person, then what type of ID restrictions or insurance restrictions would you might have to go through? And that's what makes it a big hurdle. You know, what I believe we are going to see with this, I'm going to go ahead and let it run. Then I'm going to finish that.
Legal person from conception. Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade in 2022, medication abortion by mail has become a key method of access. Washington Senator Patty Murray is criticizing the ruling, writing, "The Fifth Circuit just told millions of women that 3 judges know better than the FDA, their doctors, and 25 years of evidence. They don't. This restriction on medication abortion is a nationwide abortion restriction, full stop. I have no intention of letting this stand."
Okay. What I'm thinking, God, is that abortion medication is about to become like drugs on the street, illegally sold. I'm thinking it's going to be illegally sold.
I think so too. Based off that right there, yeah. I didn't even know there was a pill. I thought the morning after was only.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but you know, but at least there is something for, you know, unplanned parenthood. You know,
damn.
At least there is something, but you know, but
the ramifications for those pills hitting the black market. Can you imagine getting caught dealing those pills, God? In those states that are anti that thing.
I mean, imagine what they get. I'm looking at the charge. I'm looking at the charge. Like, are they charging you with murder?
That's what I'm saying, God. Like, that's what I'm saying, God.
Like, you catch a murder charge selling them pills.
That's what I'm saying. Attempted at least.
But the price now with the reckless behavior, you know, with the irresponsible behavior, and
that's
people,
scary, God.
You know, and you know, because young people ain't gonna stop, old folks ain't gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? It's just the old folks ain't got to worry about the babies having, you know, but the young folks ain't gonna die. They ain't gonna be using no. We done heard of all these different Houston with this big outbreaks of this, and this place with these big outbreaks of STD.
Nothing.
Yeah, like people not using condoms at all. You know, so they pass around whatever, they don't care. So now that the women who are participating in this, now that they already, the federal government already said, look, y'all on your own. You used to have a dog in the fight with you, but now no. Your state is left to tell you what you can do or what you can't do. They're going to regulate it. Okay. But now we see this medication. This is the one they've been using. This is the one that is the most prominent. Oh, we got to restrict this one.
That's going to be hella. Oh, man.
We got to make sure that they can only get this through the doctors.
And the plan B's go for $50. Man. You already put a price part. Oh my God, why you? That's disgusting.
Yeah, but I mean that's what we're dealing with. You know, that's properly the time that we living in and the culture and we experiencing. That's why we try to encourage people to, you know, be better. Be better.
We've all heard about autonomous cars, but now there are autonomous trucks. For the first time, a driverless commercial truck delivered freight, completing a 230-mile route from Houston to Dallas on time. This is time-lapse video of that drive with no one in the cab. The company, Bot Auto, argues autonomous trucks are the future. Since there are no drivers, they don't face fatigue or need brakes, reducing overall costs.
We go where sometimes humans do not want to go. I-45 is very challenging. There's a lot of traffic.
Driverless trucks are only legal in some states. California is not one of them yet, but the DMV just gave the green light to test heavy-duty autonomous vehicles, including semi-trucks on California roads. This small trucking company owner supports the technology.
If you ask any truck company what their biggest problem is, it's usually the drivers, keeping them safe and keeping them out of accidents. With automated trucks, those things are easier to deal with.
The California Teamsters Union is against the move. They plan to continue pushing for good jobs and road safety, saying the DMV's decision to rush forward with driverless heavy-duty trucks is reckless.
Clearly, though, there's drawbacks. It definitely has the potential to improve goods movement, to lower costs of moving freight, but it's going to change our workforce.
Experts say these advancements mean driverless trucks could drive 24/7.
Truck company Aurora, based in California, estimates there could be 170,000 self-driving trucks on the road by 2035, representing 15% of the U.S. trucking market.
Yeah, so truck driving, they're coming for that one too.
Yeah, you could tell the difference between the owner of the company and a truck driver.
Can't you? The language is so different, right?
Oh,
the language is forward thinking of the owner, and the truck driver is just like, man, this some BS. Okay.
And it seems like the Department of Motor Vehicles is moving forward with it, state by state.
Yeah, so I would be looking in how to own an automated truck if I'm going to still stay in the business, because I mean that would really be what you have to get to is a fleet of automated trucks.
Yeah.
So then do you need a data center now to joystick all your trucks? Like it's crazy what this thing is coming to. It's like video games are taking over the whole world. Video games are taking over the planet.
I mean, I know they say it's safe and everything, but somebody runs into that truck runs into somebody. It's just a oops.
Yeah, I mean, well, if the truck runs into somebody, it's a human life on the other end.
Yeah.
But it's no human life responsibility, insurance-wise or liability on
for the truck, yeah.
For the truck driver. So, for the trucking company.
For the trucking company, yeah.
Right. So they'd be able to just pay out whatever they need to pay out. And then if you hit one of them trucks, then now, I don't hear of too many people running into a rig though. Like, but it's things that I've seen.
They try to find ways to make the rig run into them.
Yeah, I've seen online though, like scary sites where it's like it's fog, and or it's rain heavy and or it's ice and everybody's hitting a patch. Like it's this one pileup that be online where it's like everybody's sliding into each other, and it's like it looks so. It's like thank God I was not on that road that day.
Yeah,
for nothing, because a lot of people died. But that's what it looks like though. It looks like a lot of jobs are dying
in our face.
Yeah, and we're living right through it. We're seeing the development of this technology and the implementation of it, the testing, the rolling it out. We're seeing jobs being lost all throughout the U.S. and they are being eliminated or what they say reduced. Their labor force being reduced and replaced with AI and robots and robotics. So there are a bunch of jobs, there are a bunch of career paths, bunch of skill sets that will not be replaced by AI as well. So we always encourage everybody to go look that up. You know, simple search, simple online search. You know, whether it's GPT or Claude or Siri or Alexa, whoever you rocking with, Google, you know, Yahoo search, what jobs will not be affected by AI, you know, or what jobs won't appear to be as seriously affected, you know, have the least likely to be affected by AI. Any of those will help you pick something out where you could, you know, be employed for the next 30, 40, 50 years or have a business that's thriving, you know. You still gonna have to do all the work though. That's the still gonna have to get your bootstraps because ain't nobody coming to drop no check off for you. You know, especially for the color folks. Okay, so you know, yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild, and that's all we got right there.
You've just been Flavor Bomb, and now back to our show.
So yeah, if y'all just joining us, y'all make sure to please smash that like button, share the content, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. We have been smoking on proper tonight, and we are at our fifth and final, last but never least question: is the word proper bad, good, or misunderstood? The God Ali Dawood at BKSOLFARM.
Peace. I think the word is good.
Peace, God.
But I definitely think that it's misunderstood. I feel like we mix and match the politeness and the correctness up with it, right? I feel like as a child, my parents, in the name of safety, right? My grandparents, my great grandmother, I don't know. I think that polite that in the name of safety, that being nice, and it became the correct thing and the right thing. Being polite and genteel in those words, right? Became appropriate, right? And not, I guess they was always appropriate, right? Because put on a face for where you at. I don't know. For me, I feel like I still feel like it's misunderstood. I feel like it's being used, but just wrong.
It's being used wrong. Yeah. That would make it properly misunderstood. For sure. Yeah. And I'm gonna give it misunderstood. I'm gonna go with proper as misunderstood. Misunderstood. When we look at the bad and the good, yeah, I see bad and good in it, but it is properly misunderstood.
Yeah.
And that's because, yes, when we look at those teachings and things, and then when we look at the definition, you know, it's so broad.
Yeah.
And you see things that go together, you know, like owning and responsibility, respectfulness, virtuous, being correct, even trying to be excellent, you know, or good looking, you know, when we talked about the being properly dressed to go to church, you know, you want to be good looking.
Yeah.
You know, even think about it now when people put on a suit and a tie or something, you know, you know, somebody is like, hey, you look handsome. Hey, all right. So You know, so I think just the things that were presented there for us to edify, for us to beautify ourselves or present ourselves in a certain respectable fashion or a certain which we would call proper. All of those standards were set, were defined. But like we also spoke of tonight, you know, social media is redefining those things constantly, you know, and collectively in the Black community concept or in just the American culture concept, nobody's reinforcing these things. When it goes to reinforce properness or etiquette, you know, or appropriateness or virtuousness, respectableness, thorough, thorough manners, you know, to being complete and being fit. Like everybody has their own different meanings and what makes them comfortable, you know, so it makes it difficult to have a foundation or a standard of what we collectively agree on as going to be what's proper.
Correct.
You know, so it's in that case it is properly misunderstood, and yeah, and y'all let us know what y'all think. Is the word proper bad, good, or misunderstood? And that's our final question for the evening. We've been smoking on proper tonight, and we went through our 5 questions. 1, what do you think of when you hear the word proper? Growing up, what were you told was proper, and does it still apply today? What historically is the idea of being proper in the Black community concept? How does social media influence what people think is proper today? And is the word proper bad, good, or misunderstood? We would love to know what you think, so feel free to exchange your insights in the comment section below, and we definitely will respond to you. And thanks again for pulling up, hanging out with us tonight, everybody in the chat. So go ahead and give everybody a little quick shout out real quick. We got BKSOLFARM, Peace, Power, and Profit Team. Then we got Sticks99 right there. Peace. And then we got lovely ATV. We want to thank all of y'all for pulling up, commenting, rocking with us out during the show. Rocking out with us during the show. And we want you all and everyone else to have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. Remember, we are not the gurus. We trying to learn this stuff like you do. Okay? So, you know the motto. If it's something that you like, pick it up, have a smoke, exchange insights with us. You know, if not, please leave it in the ashtray for somebody else to smoke, and smash that like button. And we'll see y'all next time right here, Cigar Sundays live each and every Sunday at 8 p.m. East Coast time. I'm Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God Ali Dawood at BKSOLFARM. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God.
Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So BKSOLFARM.com, 1016-160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude at Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. You are the key to your financial freedom, so unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, We thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle.
Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.